thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you want to know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Hey, Miami Dolphin fans, sorry for the delay there, guys. Sorry for the delay. Hello, Miami Dolphin fans. We have playoff football tonight. It's going to be frigid weather out there. As always, I am joined by Steve Malloy, and you can see on the other side, we got a very special guest, SoCal Derek. But Steve, since you're the regular, let me ask you real quick, how are you doing today in Texas?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. Little chilly here in Texas today, in the 40s. So kind of like South Florida, right? Once it gets below 70 degrees, we're kind of chilly. You know, I still have that South Floridian blood in me, so yeah, a little cold, but other than that, nice day. It's gonna be a long wait for this game tonight.
We already got our resident Buffalo Bill fan in the house trolling us, but that's good. Any view is a good view, as they say. So I take it. Derek, welcome to Dolphin Thirsty Channel. Tell us a little about yourself and how you became a Miami Dolphin fan all the way out in Southern California.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? I appreciate you allowing me to come on the show. You know, when I was young, probably actually I was more like a teen. I was collecting football cards, and I always liked the colors of the Dolphins. That was where it started for me. I was surrounded in downtown LA going to school with Raider and 49er fans and Cowboy fans, everybody wearing their starter jackets. And most of those people were gang members where I grew up. And so I wasn't into that kind of thing. And I just naturally started to watch the Dolphins when they would be on local TV. They were only on TV during playoff games. And so I got to see Dan Marino in a couple playoff games. And then in 1996, when Zach Thomas became a Dolphin, that's kind of when I really started to take off, and I would say be called a diehard. So from 96 to now, I call myself a diehard because Zach was the guy that got me full throttle, as you would say.
Yeah. Good. Great player, man. I love Zach Thomas myself.
Hey, Hall of Famer finally. Took way too long, but he's finally where he belongs in the Hall of Fame.
For sure.
All of his numbers and his achievements said he should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. But yeah, that's a good reason. I was just curious how some Southern California dude ends up rooting for the Miami Dolphins. Steve, I know he lives in Texas now, but he's from South Florida, so I knew his story. I was just wondering how a California kid becomes a Dolphin fan, but now I know, so it's cool. So guys, tonight's not going to be easy. We could have been playing a game in South Florida, but we lost to Tennessee. We lost to the Bills. We lost to the Ravens down the stretch. It is what it is. We made our own bed. So now we just have to go out there tonight, surprise, shock the NFL world, guys, and have our chance to win. So, Derek, I'm going to ask you first, since you're the special guest. What do you think the Dolphins' chances tonight, and what's the keys to the game for if the Dolphins are going to upset Kansas City on this frigid night in Kansas City, Missouri?
Well, I mean, being that I have property in Kansas City, I've been there in the winter, and I can tell you that the cold is like no cold. I mean, for a Southern California kid, it's like nothing I've ever felt before. You know, I got Canadian blood in me, and I've been to Canada a bunch of times, and I can tell you that Kansas City to me was colder. Getting off the plane and going into town. But, you know, all week I've been thinking about this, and I've been talking about it on Twitter a lot, what I think is going to happen. And, you know, I've been going back and forth with Steve about Tua and how I think it should be a big game for him. But, you know, the more that I think about it, the more I think they need to take the ball out of his hands this game. I do not think that this should be a game that Tua should be throwing the ball. Hawaiian guy, or actually Polynesian guy who's from Hawaii, warm weather, goes down to South Florida. This isn't a guy who's going to know how to throw the football in that kind of weather. Can he do it? Sure, I guess he can. But this should be a Devon Etchen game and a Raheem Mostert game. This should be heavy running. And if they do that, I do believe the Miami Dolphins can win. I think they will win, but I don't think it's going to be a crazy score. I think it's going to be like 9-10. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. Nothing crazy. That weather is nothing to play with, and that ground turns into concrete when you get that cold. So I think it's going to be a slug-'em game.
Steve, same question to you.
No, man, I've got to piggyback on what Derek said. He's right on. He's spot on, man. In fact, Rob, you and I were talking about this before the show started. I said, take the ball out of Tua's hands, make him a game manager. This isn't about Tua today. This is about winning, and this is about running the ball because of the elements. I'm from South Florida, but I've traveled all over this country, and I have been in cold weather below minus 15 20 degrees. It's no joke, man. And those elements are not going to be in the Dolphins offense favor, period, if they want to win this game. McDaniel is going to have to make adjustments, and he's just going to have to go back to football 101, as Derek said.
Yeah, I agree. And let me say, hey, Miss Finns, thank you for joining in today. Guys, I think she's actually doing a Saturday show today. So try to find out what time Miss Finns rolls today. And Finns Talk Sports Network's also in the house. I know they go at noon every Saturday. So make sure you check them out. And Ray Finko, Michael K., our Buffalo Bills fan, I would even give you a thumbs up, Finns up. So I agree with you guys, which means probably, since I thought last week was going to be a higher scoring game and our defense kicked butt, now it's probably going to be completely opposite, and we're going to go score a lot of points. I shouldn't really think, but it's going to happen. But, with my logic, it'll probably turn out. But I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be a low defensive scoring game where, it's like a 14-10 type score, something like that, where both teams are impacted by the weather. Kansas City. See, I got those old school teams in my mind. Kansas City, they're still a king for a reason. They're still the defending Super Bowl champs for a reason, but they're not as super team as they were just last year and a couple of years prior to that. This is the year, if you're going to punch them in the mouth, it's the year to punch them in the mouth before they circle the wagons and bring in elite receivers again for Mahomes. That's one thing Kansas City does. When they saw they had a flaw on the offensive line, they went out and fixed the offensive line. Now they see they have a flaw on target. So this is a year. If you're going to get Kansas City, this is a year to knock them in the mouth and knock them out of the playoffs. So I see us, even without a lot of our defensive players, out due to injury, unfortunately. X is not going to be able to go.
Yeah.
And every edge, we're picking up edge rushers off the street that weren't being paid by a team at the time we were picking them up. It's just how it goes at this time of season. But some way, somehow, I find our defense limits Kansas City enough. Heck, they limited them up there over in Germany.
Yeah, they did.
They only got 14 points against our defense because 7 of them came on the Tyreek Hill fumble return. So, I think in this kind of weather, we can hold Kansas City down again. We held Kelsey to a season low in yardage and stuff. So I think there is a way for the Miami Dolphins to win and surprise. To me, it's not even going to surprise me. I'm actually going to be down if we lose this game. We haven't won a playoff game since 2000. This is the year, Derek, that we just have to go out there, play our brand of football. Tua play mistake-free football. Don't get them any interceptions because the Dolphins do very well when Tua doesn't throw interceptions and turn the ball over. It's a completely different story to see the Buffalo game because Josh Allen turned the ball over 3 times, but Tua did it 2 times, and it was just too much for us to overcome, and they overcame it because of the punt return. So you got to avoid those, and somehow please don't allow another punt return or Crossman's going to be out of a job. So, Derek, as far as the defensive guys being out, we can name them all. Every single, basically, if you're an edge rusher for the Miami Dolphins, you've been hurt this year. That was like our strength coming into this season, Derek. But how do we overcome? Do you think Fangio will dial up more blitzes like he did against Buffalo, come up with a little more blitzes, or what do you think?
Well, I think the key of the game for the defense is going to be salt and pepper. I think the middle is where Pacheco likes to run. And if you could clog up that middle with salt and pepper, then I think you have a huge shot. I don't think you're going to see Kelsey that involved. I think you'll see him more as a decoy because of the weather. Weather has a lot to do with it. We got to also remember that Kansas City's been dropping the ball more than Tyreek this year. So they're not going to be wanting to throw in this kind of weather either. So that tells you their game plan is going to be heavy Pacheco. And Pacheco, he's got a bad hip right now. And with that cold weather, if you could get that guy and you could smash him a few times on the ground, he's not going to want to go bulldog like he normally would, in a warmer game. So I think my perspective is, you said salt and pepper, and also I think the X factor in this whole game that nobody has talked about is these guys that we just picked up. I think Houston's got something to prove. He just coming back to KC after KC gave him walking papers, and it could be one and done for him if he doesn't do anything. I think he's got something to prove, and I think you're going to see it today.
Well, I hope so. And guys, check out Bearded Fanatic. He's on Dolphins Talk now, but he also still has his own stuff on Battered Fans. Good guy. Make sure you check out Manny. Hey, Fin Sanity. Big fins up to you as well. So, Steve, what do you think? First, on all the injuries we had, of course, I'm not making excuses, but it is a factor because we have to factor who's going to play. What do you think? Do you think Fangio dials up more blitzes? They say he did more blitzing in the Bills game than he had all season prior to that. It's like he blitzed on 36% as opposed to like 14% of the time.
Right.
So do you see more blitzes if you think a pass is coming? Obviously, you have to know if you get them into passing situations.
Yeah, and that's the point. We don't know how this game's going to play out. It's going to be a challenge for both teams, both offenses. Just the team as a whole, both teams as a whole. But yes, if Mahomes is going to throw the ball, yeah, you've got to put the pressure on Mahomes. You've got to find a way to contain. I know Derek said Kelce may be a decoy, and true, but who are you going to put on Kelce? Who are we going to put on Kelce with the injuries that we have in the safeties and the edge rushers and I don't know if our linebackers are capable of containing Kelce. So the thing is, yes, we want to put as much pressure on Mahomes as we can, shake him up back there, and we've got to contain him as well. So he's the X factor. We've got to contain him as well. And if that requires blitzing, yes, we need to blitz him, and we need to cause as much havoc and much as chaos in that game for Mahomes as we can.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree on that for 100% sure, because on the plays that we let Josh Allen had all day where he could count the people and wave to his family in the stands, he ate us up. But when we put pressure, he kind of folded a couple times, Mike, okay, like it or not. He turned the ball over and everything. So, you got to rattle some of these guys because the best quarterbacks don't like to be rattled. So as far as offense, guys, looks like, I don't know what the latest word is, but people are saying that Mozart might be back and Waddle might be back. Do you think that helps our offense any, Derek, if those guys can go out there and play today?
Well, I think it helps, but again, I think if we're not running the ball and Tua's throwing the ball, then we're going to have a long day. I just think that this weather, what are they suggesting it's going to be? -8 wind chill?
-30 wind chill.
Okay, well, -30. You're playing in Antarctica. Yeah, we got a penguin, but he's from Texas, so
Yeah.
I just think people are underscoring what throwing a football is in that kind of weather.
No, it's like
I've gone back on YouTube and watched a lot of the games from before I was born. That's when they played in the frozen tundra, and they weren't throwing the ball a whole lot.
No, and if they were, it was short passes.
Yeah, there's a reason that you're not seeing flashy plays in that kind of weather. It's because that ball hurts to throw it, it hurts to catch it, and it really hurts to get hit in it.
Yeah, good points.
Oh no, it definitely hurts to get in. I know everything, man, in the cold weather hurts, man. Because I remember when I used to play baseball in the cold weather, man. When you hit the ball, if you don't hit it right, your hands are like, man.
Yeah.
So and I'm a South Florida kid, so and just playing baseball in what we call cold. So I can imagine, going there. But it's going to affect Kansas City too, because you just don't get used to that kind of weather.
Absolutely.
I know it's more on us because everyone says we're the South Florida team coming over there. But no one likes it. I don't care how much you live in it, how long you live in it, you're still miserable in it when you're out there in the elements. So maybe it favors them a tiny bit, but I think if we run the ball better, it actually benefits us. If we can stop, the Dolphins have been pretty good at stopping the run overall this year. And I think that, we can go out there, establish a running game with Moser, Achane, Brooks, Wilson, whoever. The name on the back doesn't even matter, but just go out there and establish it. And if Achane can break a couple big plays, that could be the difference in the game, because he is a difference maker when that kid is going well. And he can be that small little guy that just, when these guys are moving just a little bit slower, his quickness, he may still be able to get there and get through some of those big guys. And that should be a good element, Derek. I know Achane and Moser are the guy. To me, they're the keys to the game. I'm with you, Derek. Try to not throw the ball as much as possible. Hopefully, Mike McDaniel, because Steve will point out later probably that Mike McDaniel doesn't always stick with the run when he thinks he should stick with the run. Stats say kind of otherwise. It says we were kind of balanced. I know some people have said, but I feel like last week against Buffalo, how many times did we run the ball in the second half? Like 3 or 4 times.
Well, I think giving the position we're in at the time had a lot to do with him not running the ball. But here's a fun fact. I didn't know this until yesterday myself. You know that Miami Dolphins throw the ball 50, I think it's 57% of the time, and then they run the ball the rest of the time, right?
Right.
Kansas City throws the ball 68% of the time.
Oh, wow. So they really no, they got Patrick Mahomes, of course. So, of course.
Yeah.
So he likes to play backyard ball, though. That's his problem.
Yeah. He's definitely
a gunslinger.
He's something else. But here's the deal too, is they've got Pacheco, right? I don't know anybody else on the team, any other running backs. Well, they might have maybe another guy, and I don't even know who it is. Miami's got 5. They brought 5 running backs with them to this game, right? We got Brooks. Don't forget about Ingold. And then we've got Mostert. We've got Achane, right? And then we've got Jeff Wilson. So we've got 5 to their maybe 2 running backs. And if we're going to
agree on the running back, we definitely have the edge. We got a good running game. I'm going to go look at their roster real quick and see who the running backs are. But, you make up a good point. They got a guy named Ingram. I'm looking at their roster. You're right, man. Pacheco's basically their big name, Steve. So you said it without even having a look. Yeah, they're definitely. And I know Derek had already brought up Pacheco too. I mean, he's their new number 10, man. He's their playmaker this year. He's the guy.
He's a battling ram, though, man. That guy he hits hard. He reminds me of a skinnier Jerome Bettis. He loves contact.
Yeah. He's a little guy. I mean, he's not that big. You're right. But it's just one guy. And you mentioned too, Derek. He's hurt. He's got a hurt hip. So and in this weather, I mean. Your fingers, your limbs, right, already freaking burning up and cold. And if you have any kind of ligament damage or anything like that, it's going to hurt even worse.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, it's definitely, we all know the cold weather that's the storyline tonight. I mean, it's the huge storyline going into the Dolphins game tonight. Hopefully Tyreek Hill shows up, because he's been a little bit of disappointment towards the end of the season. I'm not going to knock him because he helped us the rest of the season get there. But in the game against Kansas City, he talked all week about playing against his old team and how he was going to go out there and be epic. And he was one of the reasons why we ended up losing, because he had the fumble. Whether you want to blame McDaniel for calling a screen pass, Tua calling the screen pass, the blocker's not blocking it. But at the end of the day, Tyreek Hill fumbled the ball, and they ran it back for a touchdown. So maybe he'll just go out there and have some game of, I know you guys, we don't want to throw the ball too much, but find a way to get in the ball and end arounds, hand him it off, do something to get that man the ball and show what he can do against his old team, because he's talking a little trash already, saying he's going to talk trash when he sees them in person. He says Kelsey big times him now and already though. He goes, "Oh, I texted Kelsey," and he doesn't. He goes, "Ever since he started dating Swift, I guess he's too famous for me. He doesn't
Yeah.
respond to my text anymore." So
Yeah.
so we gotta see. But he says, "Oh, wait until I get on the field. I'm gonna do some trash talk." So at least he's coming with some fight in him, Derek. I know you were a little hard on him for those drops, Derek. Do you think he has a chance to redeem himself against his old team this week and show out like Tyreek Hill we know can come out there and be a star?
I think my relationship with Tyreek Hill is kind of like my relationship with my wife. I love her so much, I give her the most hell, and she gives me the most hell. I love Tyreek. I want Tyreek to be the best he can ever be. But when he does something he's not supposed to, or when he does something that he's supposed to, I'm going to be the most crucial if he doesn't do it because of the money we paying him. I mean, let's be real. We gave up a lot to get him. I mean, that's generational wealth there. So he needs to come through in these type of games. This is why we got him. We didn't get him to break, 2,000 yards. While it was great, I mean, I love it, and it was exciting while it was going on, but that's not really why he's here. He's here to take us to the next step, and this is the next step. This game should be a Tyreek game. If we're going to throw the ball, I hope they don't, but if they do, I hope it's a big Tyreek game. As Steve would say, get it to other guys also.
No, hey, I agree. Hey, Awkward Vision, Timothy Washington, Evan Posner, all you guys, Ray Finko, don't worry, may not say it, but I see you guys in here. Big fins up to you. Someone asked if Tua's going to wear gloves. No, he said, it was Ray Finko, but he said he is not going to wear gloves. So I heard him, they asked him that question, and he says he just, does things change if he, if it's really cold, but he said he's not planning on wearing gloves. That he says it's already hard enough in the cold to feel the football well because it's a whole different ball. The ball's harder and stuff. So he says he wants his hands on the ball. That's what he said. So do you think gloves makes a big difference, Steve, or do you think you go out there without gloves?
Look, I only saw some of the practice and I saw it on X. I saw them throwing the ball around. They were throwing the ball around. I didn't see any runs, but hey, it was only a small segment of what they showed in practice. They were throwing the ball to Tyreek. They were throwing the ball to Waddle. Come on. But he wasn't wearing gloves. But I did notice that the receivers were wearing gloves.
Yeah, I think might.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing that I'm sure the quarterbacks, with all the technology we have these days and stuff like that, they have those warmers that they have on the side. So I'm pretty sure that he's gonna have those. So, man, I don't know. I don't think if anything, I think gloves are gonna make it worse for him. And I say that only because he hasn't practiced with gloves.
Right. No, you're right. So Lewis, who I just happen to know is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, so he's coming in here. I don't know him personally, but he comes in our shows all the time and came in during the Kansas City week earlier in the regular season. So yes, Ray, yes, he did get isotoners, but those are not good football gloves, but that is a good one. That is a good one, man. It's funny, man, because a lot of people didn't get that isotone. Because I was watching it with my sons. They go, "Oh, why are you laughing so hard, Dad, at the isotoner thing?" I go, "Oh, it's hard to explain. It's like Dan Marino used to be on a commercial." They go, "Well, why is that funny?" "Well, it's a South Florida quarterback being on a commercial for gloves." And then like, "Oh, okay, kids." So they're like, "Oh, okay, that's why it's funny," because I was laughing right away when they got isotoners. I thought it was cool that the players knew what I guess just they're around Dolphins, so they probably hear the stories. But I thought Mike White and all of them were cracking up when they got isotoners. So that was funny. But anyway, Derek, I really appreciate you being here today. So I got a good question for you as far as today's final outcome. I know you said like 10-9. We're going to get in. I just want to see I want fans to chime in. I know Lewis says down tickets can go for as low as 38. Hey, Steve, you still got time to get over there. Get tickets, Steve. How far from
Ain't happening. Ain't happening.
But anyway, so I know you said like 10-9, Derek, earlier to start the show, but we're almost here at the 25-minute mark. So it's time that Steve and I normally talk score-wise. So are you sticking with that? It's going to be like a single-digit game or a low double-digit game?
I mean, that's what I want to see. Obviously I want the Chiefs to have 0, but the chances of that
Yeah.
happening are probably slim to none.
Right.
So just putting everything into perspective of, the weather and the two teams and Pacheco being hurt and, guys coming, onto our Dolphins defense as DNs or linebackers rather. Just putting all of that into perspective, my opinion has to be that 9-10. I think it's going to be a close fought game. Me and my dad have been going back and forth over social media with each other. He thinks it's going to be a lower game than that, but I don't. I just think it's going to be a slugfest. So we'll see. I'm excited. Hey, if it's a barn burner, 70-6, I'd be happy.
I know that's what I'm saying. That's what's probably going to end up happening because we're
It
all
might
seeing a
be.
slow.
Yeah.
We're all seeing this low scoring game and then watching both teams go out and put it like 35-28 or something like that. That's just how it goes when we're making all these big predictions. Steve, where are you in line before? Oh, let me do housekeeping first. Guys,
Sure.
if you're in here, please hit those thumbs up, which I like to call fins up buttons. Yes, I mean for you and Lewis and all you guys. Still give that thumbs up. Doesn't mean you're a Dolphin fan, but it means you're helping a small channel grow. So thank you. Now, Steve, what's your score prediction?
Wow, I'm going to be the guy that says I'm going to look back at the games that they played against good teams and they lost. I'm the guy that's going to look at all the analytics, all the data, and all that is saying the Dolphins are going to lose this game. My heart, of course, I want my Miami Dolphins to win. Been a diehard fan, I'll say it again, for 51 years. Been through all that thick and thin, seen the good, seen the bad, seen the ugly.
Right.
I don't think they're going to be able to pull this game off. I don't have that confidence in Mike McDaniel to stick with his plan of not stick with his plan, but going away from his plan, that he normally has with these games, and I just don't see him adjusting for this game. I think Miami's going to lose this game 17-14.
Oh my God, that's so weird. But I'm the exact same score, but there's a big, huge difference. But I got the Dolphins.
I know.
I got the Dolphins. I swear, Steve, you and I are in line so many times without even knowing it. I swear we did not talk about it.
No.
17-14 is my score, but I got this logo having the 17 and the KC logo having the 14.
Let's do it. I hope so, man.
So that's where and yes, am I a homer? Okay, whatever. Maybe I am, but
nothing wrong with that. I'm a homer too.
Me too.
We're all homers here.
I just see there's an avenue to victory. Is it going to be easy? No. Is the weather going to be nice? No. Is it going to be perfect? No. I find a way, and I really, truly was going to say 17-14 Dolphins. Hey, the Fins Tailgate in the house, another good channel, guys. Check them out over there. I don't know if that's El Capitan. It's probably not Shake Money because Shake Money comes in here with his name. So that may be the El Capitan who Michael K, for whatever reason, has a picture of all the time. So I don't know about that, Michael K. So it's all good, though. He goes over there and trolls them as much as he trolls. I don't even know if he ever goes to a Buffalo Bills channel. But, hey, like I say, he hits the like button for me all the time. So I give him that much.
I think he's a closet. I think he's a closet Miami Dolphins fan.
Yeah, I think so, too. It is. It's El Capitan. I know I say it fancy, but I don't know how that's how you say it. But he's a cool dude over there, man.
They got a great show, great network over there at Fins Tailgate. They really do.
Yeah, they're good guys, man. Yeah, he's banned on all the Bills channels. So, so there you go. But anyway, guys, like I say, we didn't really have a script today. We got those score predictions. Let's talk real quick on the other games. We're a Dolphins show, but it is playoff time, so it's a lot easier to go over the other games. So we can just go over real quick. Cleveland, Houston's the first game of the day today. Who do you got, Derek? Cleveland or Houston?
I got Houston. I think the rookie is going to come and just shock the world.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, I have Cleveland in that one. Steve, you live in Houston, so
right.
Who do you see winning this game?
Man, I would love to see Houston win, but I'm afraid that Cleveland with Joe Flacco as at the helm and his experience and the way that he's been playing, just coming off the couch and just playing great, um, and the defense they have.
Yeah, I know.
I
That's
think it's
why I
going.
went with them because of that
Yeah,
defense.
I think it's going to be a little too overwhelming for the rookie. Hey, this is playoffs. This isn't the regular season. It's a whole different ball game now. It's going to be too much for him. I think. Yeah, I have to go with Cleveland.
All right. And we already did the Miami Kansas City game. So moving
Mhm.
to tomorrow,
Mhm.
Pittsburgh at Buffalo. I will start because it pains me, and Michael K is going to get a smile on his face, but I see Buffalo beating Pittsburgh tomorrow, and also another game that's going to be involved in the weather. Derek, I
Mhm.
let you go first last time. So, Steve, you get the thunder first this time. Who do you see, Pittsburgh or Buffalo?
You can't go wrong with Josh Allen against Pittsburgh. Uh, yeah, I got to go with Buffalo for sure.
All right. Derek, same question. Pittsburgh at Buffalo.
I got Pittsburgh in a
Oh wow,
upset.
man! Derek going against the grain on all the picks. I'm liking
Hey,
it.
that's
So
who
I
I
would
am,
love
brother.
that.
You
I
don't
don't
know
like
that already
Pittsburgh.
about me?
I don't like Pittsburgh, but to beat Buffalo, I would like them for a day. That would be super duper.
Yeah.
Next one, Derek, you're going to be up first on this one. Moving over to the NFC, Green Bay at Dallas.
I gotta say, Jordan Love, man. I think the kid has got something going there. I think that young team, and really Dallas has never proved anything to us, fans in any kind of playoff game.
Yeah.
Recently, within the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in Dallas in the playoffs. So I'm gonna go with Green Bay.
Wow, man, you really, man, if you bet on those games, man, no, it would be like I'm not a gambler, but man, you would be going against you would be winning all kinds of money if those teams won. Steve, you go
Man,
next on
man,
that Green Bay at Dallas.
man, I got to go with Derek on this one, man. I'm taking Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers on this game.
All right. Well, as much as it pains me because Dallas is one of my least favorite teams that's a non-division rival, but I'm taking Dallas just because they have proved at home they're a good team.
They are.
Uh,
They are at home. That's true.
I'm going with Dallas. On this next game, I will start, and then I forget the order. I think then, Steve, you're next. This is LA at Detroit. This is where I'm going to pick. Even though everyone tells me pick Detroit because I know they're the only team that's had a longer playoff winning drought than the Miami Dolphins. But for some reason, I think the Rams that play out near where Derek lives, I somehow think the Rams are going to shock the Lions and they're going to knock the Lions off the mountain, off their perch as king. So I say the Rams shock the football world. I think you're up next to pick first, right, Steve? So LA at
Yeah, I've got to go. I think Detroit's going to pull it off. I think they're going to win.
all right, Derek. LA at Detroit.
Well, I'm going to go with the team that has the player that I wanted the Dolphins to draft, and that's Sam Laporta and the Detroit Lions.
All right, that makes. I know that's the favorite pick. I know the Lions. Steve. I'm on looking at the schedule, so I don't mess up. So if you see any comments you want to recommend, but then I'm going to get in the final game. Philadelphia at Tampa. Philadelphia was one of the best teams in football up until a few weeks ago. Ever since they basically got killed by the 49ers, they've been going downhill. I still think, though, that they pull off a win at Tampa. Tampa comes in basically, they're in the playoffs because they won the division with a 9-8 record. I find a way that, even though they've lost, the Cardinals beat the Eagles, but I still find a way that somehow the Philadelphia Eagles find a way to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Derek, what do you say? Philadelphia at Tampa.
I think the Eagles will take it. I don't see Tampa doing anything this year or probably in the near future. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Okay. You, sir, Steve, the Eagles at.
Yeah, I'm taking
Tampa.
the Eagles. I'm taking the
so
Eagles.
we all say Eagles.
Yeah.
So now we can see some of these is Michael K trolling us? Is Laporta really out?
I don't know if he's out or not.
Yeah,
Michael K,
I
are you
haven't heard
trolling
either.
Dolphin fans?
I haven't heard if he's out or not. If he is, that's going to be a big that's going to be a problem because Jared Goff loves going to Laporta.
Yep.
Okay, let me see what.
That's his main man there.
So let's see. Timothy Washington said Dow. Let me go back to some of these scores. I think the Steelers are going to beat the Bills, is what the Kansas City Chief fan Lewis says. Timothy Washington has Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Timothy Washington, I got that. Timothy, I think Dolphin fans, I think we're just all hoping that the Steelers beat the Bills, but the Steelers, Timothy says Steelers. Bills, or Ray Finkel says Bills are going to run out of luck eventually. Timothy Washington says Dallas in that game. Lewis, who's a Kansas City fan, says he hates the Cowboys. So do I. Just because we didn't capitalize on Allen's many mistakes doesn't mean playoff teams won't. So that's why he's summarizing. So please, Lord, let Detroit win, Bearded Fanatic. Man, Bearded Fanatic, do you really want us maybe to be the longest team to be? If we don't win tonight, we'd be the team that has the longest playoff drought. And then he has Timothy got to Detroit and Philadelphia winning. Bearded Manny says Tampa at least won the division. Our team gave ours away. That is true. Oh, so he's really saying, he's not just trolling it. He's saying Laporta is out. See, I don't follow the other teams as much as I guess I should. I didn't know that either. So I take your word, Michael K. I don't think he would double troll me. If you double troll me, Michael K.
I didn't know he was out.
Yeah.
Well, someone else on here said that. Let's see. I saw it on here. Let's see. Where's he at? Hold on. Oh, here it is. Yeah. B. McD said Laporta was practicing yesterday. So maybe he's questionable. I don't know.
Sam Laporta game status.
You gotta play in these games if you could hop, you gotta get out there, man. It's a one and done season right now. So
Absolutely.
I mean, you gotta have a little bit of Kobe Bryant in you. You gotta have that Mamba mentality here this time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I agree.
He's looking it up there. Hey, hooked up Joe. Better late than never. Manny with a Mike McDaniel special. Adversity is opportunity. So that Bearded Manny is listening to his Mike McDaniel's press conferences like Dolphins Thirsty does. But hey, yes, that's Mike McDanielism right there. Adversity is opportunity. And hey, it is, man. This is it. That's Mike McDaniel speak 101. He's been talking like that since the day he got here. He knew the day he got here, the last date, the playoff. I'm sure he looked it up on his private jet on the way over here, but he knew what the Dolphins, when he had that first press conference, he said the exact date, the last time the Miami Dolphin fans got to experience. He said he knows it. So, and he knows, and he said it this week. He says, I know the Dolphins fans we have a good fan base, loyal fan base, and they haven't experienced much playoff success in the past couple of decades. So at least Mike McDaniel, I think the reason I liked him a little bit, because he started as a fan, as a kid, being a ball boy for the Denver Broncos. So he knows fandom. He knows like what we go through. A lot of these guys forget it because they were players their whole, and then they started coaching. He has a connection with the fans that I think other coaches don't around the league. He knows that this makes our Mondays or breaks our Mondays. When we all walk with a different pep in our step into work when our team wins, or we're having a bad day, whatever. Our team wins. We're like, whoa, at least something's going right in life, So he knows, and that's why I like Mike McDaniel. He gets us. Now, can he deliver that playoff win? That's the big difference, and that will be ultimately what decides his fate here in the next couple of years. 100% certain he's coming back, which means, who knows?
He'll be coming back. He'll be coming back
this year. I say Mike McDaniel gets that 3-year itch, but like Derek said before we went live, McDaniel has gotten to the playoffs the first 2 years. If he gets to the playoffs again next year, but still don't get us that win, how are you going to go away from that? Because, we haven't had that kind of success. Hopefully, we get this playoff win this year, and that monkey's off our back. Hey, Adam, another better late than never guy. Adam, I know your hockey team's kicking butt, man. I'm not a big hockey guy, but they are. If I had hockey in my blood, I would root for the Panthers. But hit those thumbs up, guys. We're about out. Derek, any final thoughts before we close this show out? Any final thoughts? And once again, thank you. And where can they find you on Twitter or anywhere else that you may be?
You can find me SoCal_Derek_ on Twitter or on Instagram. Appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you very much, Steve. As always, it's nice talking to you, bud.
Oh, nice talking with you, brother.
And I hope to see you guys on Twitter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, Derek. And believe me, you would get the more pass. Oh, that's fine. Thank you, SoCal. But Steve, now this is you and I real quick. So let me go to it. But your final thoughts going in today. Do you have some hope at least?
Yeah. I to be honest, I have more. I'm feeling a lot better than I was going into the Buffalo game. So yeah, I do have some hope. That they pull it off. And I think it's up to McDaniel. I think it's up to McDaniel to stick with the run. You got to run some more. We've got the talent. We've got the running backs. This cannot be a Tua game. As much as we, a lot of fans and myself would love to see Tua, show his stuff out there today, and Tyreek and Waddle and all that stuff. This is not the game for it. It's got to be football 101, and that's it, man. He's just gotta change his philosophy for this one game.
Well, Lewis is actually going to be going to the game. He's
all right,
rooting for the wrong team, but he's going to be going to the game. So I hope you sit in that miserable weather and you're miserable after the outcome of the game, Lewis. I mean, you're probably a nice guy because you probably nailed that thumbs up for me. But misery loves company. So that's an old saying. So I don't want you to be out there getting your W. So, all right, man. You guys, the whole goal today was going to be a little shorter show. We still went 40 minutes. I blabbed a lot more. I was going to try to keep this to a half hour. Derek, if you're still listening, thank you for joining us today. Ben McD, keep Mitt Holmes on the sidelines. Big, that would be awesome, B. McD. I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, there's always hope. What's that popular saying that Stephen D always he uses that term?
Hopium.
I won't steal his term because that's his term. I don't know if he created it or found it from somewhere else, but keep the hopium alive, whatever it takes. Go out there and give our team the first victory since 2000, December 30th, 2000. Do you know the last time the Dolphins won a road game, Steve? I won't put you on there because it's a off the wall question. But the funny thing, put it this way, it's been so long since we run. The team that we beat is no longer in the conference. That's how long it's been since we've won a road game.
Man, that's been over 20-something years, right?
Yep. 1999.
1999, yeah.
Then AFC team, Seattle Seahawks on the road. So that's how long it's been, guys. Teams are switching conferences, Continental divides have happened. Dinosaurs stopped roaming the earth since the last time we've had a playoff victory on the road. So this is the time for the Dolphins to go out there and conquer and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Tua's never been there. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun game, Steve. We're going to wrap this sucker up. I still think the Dolphins, call me a homer, but hey, I still think the Dolphins win. And guys, make sure Evan, if you're still in here, he probably left, but if you're still in here, I think he's taken over for the noon show on the Fins Talk Sports Network today. So make sure you check him out, guys, and it will be fun. Steve, as always, thank you very much. And before we do our classic Dolphins, let me see someone. He has a rude awakening. He won't hear. Yeah, I know, but hey, there won't be as many fans there. And I hear tickets are going pretty cheap, so maybe people won't show up as much. But, I'm sure maybe people will be too cold to yell, but we will see. It's going to be loud. I mean, Arrowhead's a great experience. I was happy that the Dolphins got to avoid, but we still lost to you guys, which sucks. But I was happy we got to avoid Kansas City and got the game in Germany. And lo and behold, wow, Kane's dog, he went way different. Look at him. He's going high scoring.
Oh, wow.
Hey, he might be right. And all of us
could be
wrong.
Could be.
Yeah. Hey, it would be the AFC East. I don't mean anything if Buffalo lost in the first round. We go to, hey, Timothy, I would take that every day of the year. But as we just took the harder road because we're literally on the road every week now. So anyway, I keep on seeing great comments. I want to close out, but people keep on throwing those great comments. All right, Steve, we're ready for closeout.
All right, man. Remember, Dolphins number one, baby.
Dolphins number one. Thumbs up the guys.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, man, he knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you want to know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins.